Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something really powerful, a tool that lets you break free from the standard limits of PowerApps and build the exact user experiences you've been dreaming of. We're talking about the PowerApps Component Framework.
So let's kick things off with a question I bet a lot of you have asked yourselves. Have you ever been deep into building a Power App and you just hit a wall? You wish you could just tweak that one little thing, make a field more interactive, or maybe make a data grid a lot less cluttered. If that sounds familiar, well, you've hit the exact wall that the PowerApps Component Framework, or PCF as we'll call it, was designed to completely demolish.
Okay, so to really get why PCF is such a big deal, we kind of have to look back at how things used to be done. The original way to add custom code into PowerApps was with something called web resources. And honestly, web resources just felt clunky, right? Like they were tacked on as an afterthought, they were isolated in their own little boxes, sometimes they wouldn't even load with the rest of the form, and they just looked, well, out of place. But PCF controls, they are a total game changer. They're treated like first-class citizens in the app, loading seamlessly and integrating perfectly. And because they can use Microsoft's own design language, they look and feel like they were always meant to be there from the start.
So what is this PCF thing anyway? What are we really talking about here? I think the best way to imagine it is like this. If your Power App is a big Lego model, PCF is what lets you design and create your own custom, totally unique Lego bricks to build with.
So, at its core, PCF is the official, fully supported way for developers to jump in with standard web technologies, stuff like TypeScript and React, to build brand new UI elements from scratch. And let's be clear, these aren't just little hacks or workarounds. We're talking about robust, reusable components that you can package up and share across all of your apps and environments. Okay, so when a developer dives in to build a PCF control, they have to make a couple of key choices. First up is the scope. Are they building what's called a field control? This is where you replace just one single thing on a form. Think about swapping out a boring old number box for a cool interactive slider. That's a field control. Or are they going bigger and building a dataset control? This is where you can replace an entire grid of data, like that whole list of contacts you might be looking at.
All right, the second big decision is all about the tech stack. A developer can go the standard route using a language called TypeScript. Or, and this is where it gets really clever, they can build a React control. See, the Power Platform itself is built using React. So when a developer uses React for their custom component, they're basically plugging into the library that's already there. And what does that mean? It means their custom controls are smaller, faster, and way more efficient. Pretty smart, right?
Okay, so we know what they are, but how does a developer actually build one of these? How do you go from an idea for a cool slider to a real working thing in your app? Well, it's actually a pretty clean, modern workflow.
It all kicks off with a simple command that sets up the whole project structure. Then comes the fun part, actually writing the code. And here's a huge plus. Developers can test and debug everything right there on their own machine, in a local test harness. No more constantly pushing to the cloud just to see if a small change worked. It's so much faster. Then, when it's all good to go, it's just one more command to push that finished component right into your Power Apps environment.
And you know what's really great about all this? You don't need a bunch of expensive, specialized software to get started. The entire developer toolkit is made up of standard, free tools that honestly, most web developers probably already have on their machines anyway.
Okay, so that's the how. Now for the what. After all this setup and coding, what can you actually build? What kind of cool new capabilities does this unlock for your apps?
Well, for starters, you can totally change the game when it comes to showing data. Instead of that standard, kind of boring black and white grid, imagine something like the colorful option set grid. It's a popular community control that uses color to show the status of a record instantly. It just makes your data so much easier to understand with a quick glance.
And get this, you're not just stuck improving things that are already there. You can build completely new experiences from the ground up. Imagine a special control for users to digitally sign off on a record, or a slick interface for adding tags, or just to show you how far you can take this, you could even build a playable game of tic-tac-toe right inside your app. Seriously. And believe me, these examples are just scratching the surface. There's this amazing online resource called the PCF Gallery, run by the community, where developers have shared hundreds of free, open-source controls that anybody can download and use. It really proves that with PCF, your imagination is pretty much the only thing holding you back.
Okay, let's pull back for a second. What's the big takeaway here?
Why does all of this really matter for the Power Platform as a whole?
It comes down to this. PCF is the crucial bridge between the easy, fast world of low-code and the powerful, flexible world of pro-code. It means you can still build, say, 90% of your apps super fast with all the normal drag-and-drop tools. But when you hit that one specific roadblock, that one UI element that you just can't build out of the box, you don't have to give up. Instead, you can bring in a pro developer to build that one perfect, bespoke component that makes your entire application sync.
It really is the best of both worlds, isn't it? You get the speed of low-code and the limitless power of custom development, all working together. So that really just leaves one final question for you and your team to think about. What custom component will you build next?